welcome back to FiddleUP. So right now we're going to learn how to bow and how to play some scales. So going from the last two videos, we had some positioning and some bowing, and we even did some tuning. And now we're going to put all of that together. So let's put your shoulder rest right on your collarbone. Drop your chin into the chin rest. And now we're going to make sure that your left hand, you're creating a little stand for your neck to sit in there. Thumb on one side and the bottom of your index finger on the other. And now you're going to take your bow and you're going to put give a nice bend in your thumb, just like that, hitting the hair if you so choose. And then you're going to hook your index finger. Let these two just dangle. And then you're going to have an arch in your pinky, just like that. And so when you put your bow onto the string, you want to make sure that your bow is coming down at a 45-degree angle. You want to make sure that your hair is coming towards you, just cutting through just like this. And that's to make sure that your bow stays straight. So it's a good idea to practice in a mirror. It really is. I'm not even kidding, because I always have a full-length mirror in the house and I practice in it all the time. It feels a little bit like Narcissus, but trust me, it's really awesome. It's really good for you because, as you can see, if you look down at your left arm, you can't see most of your left arm. You can't see if your elbow's going this way or that way. There's just so much of the fiddle you can't see. You also can't see very well the trajectory of your bow, where the direction your bow is going in. So it's a really good idea to have a mirror that you practice in so that you can kind of turn the angles, you can check yourself, and check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's what I always say. And that is especially true for the fiddle. And give yourself a pat on the back. This is a hard instrument. This is a lot of stuff. And it's really complicated. It won't always be this complicated. It will make sense eventually. But if your eyes are starting to cross, don't feel bad. This is totally normal. And once you get used to it, it'll feel very natural. I promise. So you're going to take your bow, get your bow hand going. If it takes you a while to get used to the bow hand position or any of these positioning things, don't worry. It takes us all a really long time. And then it's going to be the rest of your life of refining these things and making sure you don't get injured. So welcome to the fiddle journey. So take your hair and put it on the string. So you want to make sure that your bow hair isn't flat to the string. You want to make sure that it's at an angle. So you're just hitting the side of the hair. So try to play your A string up and down. Just hitting the side of the hair. So what's going to happen is your wrist is actually going to be leading here. So we'll talk about that in 1 second. But just try a few short bows with your bow hitting the side of the hair like that. Now, if you hit some other strings, it's okay. We'll talk through all of that positioning right now. So what's happening when you're playing a string is that your hair is grabbing the string and vibrating it, and your string is flapping really fast against the bow, and the bow's bouncing it back, and it's vibrating the rest of the instrument. So it's a really cool process that's happening. But to do that successfully, it's very tiny in here, and you have a chance of hitting the other strings. So what you have to do after you've done this bow hand and all of the stuff is that you have to get used to the fact that each of these strings has its own plane that it exists on. So you have a G string plane that you'll be going back and forth. You have a D string plane that you can work with. You have an A string plane, and then you have an E string plane. So let's try the A string again. And what you're going to do is try to come down and not hit the other two strings. Feels weird, doesn't it? So I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your bow is parallel to the string. This is all about angles right now. And you can't see it very well from the angle that I'm at, so I'm going to turn just a little bit. And this is what you're going to do when you're practicing in a mirror. Do you see how you can see my bridge just like that? And I'm kind of making it flat to the camera so that you can't see the flat side of my bridge. But now you can see my bow. And so what I'm going to do is try to, I hope the camera angle doesn't confuse me, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do an A all the way down. So that's as good as I could do at this angle. So the bow needs to go parallel with the bridge, right, the whole time? So yeah, I'm getting confused. What you don't want is what I just did. See all this? So it's very good. What is happening is my arm wants to do this, right? My arm wants to go in a nice C shape, just like this. But it can't do that. It needs to go down, just like this. I think it's better if I don't look. So what I have to do is I have to start here and keep your wrist nice and high. That'll help get that shape underneath. So, you know, you can do that exercise where you go down and then hit yourself in the nose with your wrist. I don't know if anybody's done that. It's kind of fun. So we'll try that. You're going to come down. And so what I have to do is I have to avoid doing what my arm wants to do and go this way. So I have to push out just a little bit, but I do mean a little bit. So you don't want to go in the opposite way and overcompensate. So you want to come down and just push out. I'm pushing my hand out from where it wants to go, just a tiny little bit. There we go. So we'll try that with the D. Do that one more time. And try the G. Now try the E. No, the E is hard, don't worry. It's tricky. You have to get... Now, if you're all over hitting all of the strings and this isn't going very well for you, don't panic. You do get used to it. Nobody gets this right the first time. I'm just demonstrating what it's supposed to look like, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get it today, and that's perfectly fine. All of this stuff takes a lot of practice. So, continuing on from there, let's play some scales. So, we talked about the inch and a half an inch concept in one of the other videos. So we're going to start on an A. Play an A, nice open A. And then we're going to go up 1 inch and put your first finger down and play a B. And then we're going to go up another inch with your second finger. So you see that? An inch. So first finger down, an inch up from the nut. Second finger down, an inch up from your first finger. And this is a C sharp. So let's play that. Sorry, that was a little high. So going up, measuring up from the nut, we have an inch, and a half an inch. So your third finger is going to come in right above your second finger. And then if you want to add your fourth finger, if you want to be brave and go do that, go for it. That's going to be another inch up from your third finger. I usually don't recommend adding in the fourth finger until you kind of get comfortable with the first three fingers. But if you want to start it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. So let's start from the A string again. So open A. First finger. Second finger. Third finger. And then let's go open E string. The tiniest string on the top. Now let's do those same three fingers again on the E string. So first finger, an inch up. That's an F sharp. And now we have another inch. That's your second finger coming in with a G sharp. And now we have an A at the top, and that's your third finger tucked up at that half an inch at the top. There we go. So let's start from the A again and do the whole scale. Starting on the A. First finger on a B. Second finger on a C sharp. Third finger on a D. Open E. First finger on F sharp. Second finger on G sharp. Third finger on A. Now play that A again. Second finger G sharp. First finger F sharp. Open E. Now we're going to come back and do D, third finger on the A string. Second finger C sharp. First finger B. Open A. Phew! You just played your first scale. Okay, so let's try it again without me chatting the whole time. Open A. There you go. Okay, so that's a nice little scale. And so what's very exciting is you can do two more scales exactly like that with no further learning of anything except the note names. So let's start on your D. So that's your third string down, second from the bottom. And start on an open D. First finger on an E. Second finger on an F sharp. Third finger on a G. Open A. First finger on the B. Second finger on the C sharp. Third finger, D. Play the D again. Second finger, C sharp. First finger, B. Open A. Third finger on the D string, that's G. second finger F sharp, first finger E, open D. So let's try it again without me talking. Fabulous. So let's do the G scale at the bottom because that's the only one we haven't done yet. So start on your G all the way on the bottom. And let's just play this G for a minute because we haven't hung out here very much yet. So try to just figure out where your hand needs to go, because you will notice that your elbow and your hand need to go up a little bit higher. That's something you may notice as you're going up and down the strings, that your elbow may need to move. Classical players will make a big deal out of their elbow and bring their elbow way up high here. I don't find for fiddle music that's normal or necessary. We kind of float around and keep the elbow a little bit lower, and that's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But the elbow does move with the strings. So try your elbow up nice and high and see how that feels for you. Not too bad. So try an open G. Now let's add some fingers. First finger on an A. Second finger, B. Third finger, C. Open D. First finger on E. Second finger on F sharp. Third finger, G. Play that G again. Second finger on F sharp. First finger E. Open D. Third finger on the G string. This is a C. Second finger B. First finger A. Open G. Good, let's do it again without me yakking. G. There you have it. So you can practice those with slow bows, fast bows. You can try some slurs. You can do anything you want. If you've done a little bit of this before, you might have some ideas on things to do. You can also do multiple notes. You could play. Or. Lots of different things you can do, so I would just have fun with it and use your scales as a nice warm-up before you start playing your tunes. That's always a good way to start. And then if there's something that you're working on in your tunes, you can always turn it into a scale. And as we go along, I'll be showing you how to do that as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.